Okay, so effective pricing requires two different types of capabilities. The first is what we call price setting capability, or otherwise known as price orientation. And the second type of capability that's required is price getting capability, or otherwise known as price realization. So the difference between these two types of capabilities is that price setting capability is the type of prices that a company sets in the first place. So is it value-based pricing? Is it cost-plus pricing? Is it competition-based pricing? So what is the type of pricing that a company sets forth? So that is price setting capability or price orientation. And price getting capability is the capability that once a company sets whatever price that it has set, it's the extent to which the company is able to realize and get the price that it has set. So if the company sets its price at $100, but for some reason, whether it's discount or whatever it may be, the price that they actually get or they realize is not $100, but it's $70, then there's a significant gap between the price that they've set and the price that they're actually getting. So this price getting capability is a capability that captures the degree to which the company is able to realize the price that it has actually set in the first place. So this grid, this price capability grid, goes to show you the combination between price orientation and price realization, or price setting and price getting capabilities. And so on the price orientation scale, on the vertical axis, we have customer value, basically value-based pricing, and then we have competition-based pricing, and then we have cost-based pricing. And then on the horizontal, we have weak, medium, and strong price realization capabilities. So let's take a look at a couple of these. So pricing power zone. So if a company is classified under this pricing power zone, this would be a company that uses value-based pricing, but at the same time has a very strong capability to realize the price that it has set out to get. In other words, they may have set the price based on value-based pricing, but they have good systems, good processes, good guidelines set in place that enables, that facilitates, that allows the sales force to go out into the field and get the price that they've set, which in this case would be value-based pricing. So if a company is able to achieve that, they would be classified under pricing power zone. On the other hand, let's assume that if a company falls under the value surrender zone, then this is a company that, although it has set its price based on value-based pricing, it has very weak price realization, price getting capability, where it is not able to get the price that it has set out. So this means that there's a significant gap. Again, going back to, it may set the price at $100, but because it has weak price realization, price getting capability, it can only realize 70% of the price that it has set out, which is $70. In other words, here the company would be leaving a lot of money on the table. The opposite would be true for price capture zone, where in this case, the company is using a cost-based pricing, but it has very strong capabilities to realize, that price that it has set out. So it's able to capture all the price that it has set out. And then the other ones, would be somewhere in between. So this grid kind of shows you, where, like I said, the two capabilities that companies need to be effective in pricing are price realization, price getting capabilities, and price setting or price orientation. Okay, let's now look at a contingency approach to pricing. So what do we mean by a contingency approach to pricing? Well, as the name implies, it's a contingency approach. So this means that a universal approach to pricing is not effective. And what do we mean by a universal approach to pricing? A universal approach to pricing means that one method of pricing is always good under all circumstances. So a cost plus pricing or a competition-based pricing or a value-based pricing is always good under all situations, under all conditions, would be consistent with the universal pricing approach. Whereas a contingency pricing approach implies that, a particular pricing strategy may be effective to different degrees depending on the situation at hand, depending on the condition at hand. So the two common contingency factors that a lot of studies have looked at are relative product advantage. So it's the product advantage that my product has relative to the competition, and then competitive intensity. So it's the extent to which there is cutthroat competition in a given industry. And studies have shown that when we first look at relative product advantage, so when relative product advantage increases, so when my product has a significant relative product advantage compared to the competition, the best pricing approach to use would be value-based pricing. So when my brand has a significant relative product advantage compared to the competition, the contribution of value-based pricing on new product performance in terms of sales and in terms of profitability of this new product becomes stronger when I use a value-based pricing. So which means that if my new product has a significant relative product advantage compared to the competition, then using a value-based pricing strategy is the way to go. Whereas when you have a relative product advantage compared to the competition, and you don't use a value-based pricing, but you use a competition-based pricing, then your new product performance will suffer. So the bottom line, the takeaway here is, if you have a relative product advantage compared to the competition, and you want to improve the sales or the profitability of your new product, then using a value-based pricing helps, whereas using a competition-based pricing does not help. Let's look at the example when there's competitive intensity, when there's high competitive intensity. When there is high competitive intensity in a market, then using a value-based pricing does not help your new product performance. Whereas when there is high competitive intensity, using a cost-based pricing, a cost-plus pricing, helps your new product performance. So if we take these two findings collectively, this again goes to show you that when there is cutthroat competition in a given industry, when there's high competitive intensity in a given industry, and your goal is to improve your sales and profitability of your new product performance, then using a cost-plus pricing helps, whereas using a value-based pricing does not help. Again, as you can see here, this is different from when there is high relative product advantage. So this just goes to underscore the importance of being flexible and being aware of what pricing strategies to use under different market conditions, under different product conditions, which will help your new product performance.